Hello and welcome to our Daily News Roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Nkechi Tejiri. Here are our top stories. Federal government courts global investors as solid minerals sector takes center stage. Future of the Worried Child second edition inspires hope and purpose among students. Constitution review. National Assembly Committee approves new state for Southeast. NDLEA applauds customs for major meth seizure worth 562 million naira. Trump, Malaysia seal rare earth deal amid China trade tensions. Liverpool crisis deepens as slot searches for answers. Now to the news in full. The federal government has renewed its call for international investors to take advantage of Nigeria's reformed solid minerals sector, describing the country as one of the most attractive destinations for mining investments globally. Alake highlighted key innovations such as the deployment of mining marshals, satellite monitoring systems, and the electronic mining cadastre. Tools, he said, have curbed illegal mining and enhanced investor confidence. He noted that companies like Camax Technology, Juling Lithium, and Avatar New Energy have invested over $1.3 billion in Nigeria's lithium processing sector since 2023, a sign of renewed global confidence. The minister reaffirmed the Tinubu administration's commitment to building a globally competitive value chain that supports job creation, clean energy transition, and sustainable growth. Representing Nigeria at the technical session, Director General of the Nigeria Geological Survey Agency, Professor Olusegun Ige, said the country's vast mineral data system and improved geoscientific mapping provide a solid foundation for investors. With over 44 commercially viable mineral deposits and a strengthened policy framework, the federal government says Nigeria is ready to move from raw extraction to full-scale value addition in the global minerals market. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dr. Dele Alake, made the call while addressing delegates at the 2025 China Mining Conference in Tianjin, China. He said President Bola Tinubu's reforms are transforming Nigeria into a major mining hub through improved security, transparency, and investor-friendly policies. It was a day of inspiration and hope in Warri as hundreds of students gathered for the future of the Worried Child second edition, themed Beyond Limit, Unlocking the Potential of the Worried Child. The one-day event held on Friday, October 24th, 2025, featured impactful sessions from notable speakers, including Mrs. Tara Fela-Durotoye, Chief Swor Chapele, Deaconess Florence Oriawose, and Dr. Waimi Ogbomine, among others. Students were also educated on health and wellness by representatives from Safari Pharmacy and the NDLEA, who emphasized the importance of healthy living and staying drug-free. Convener of the program, Prince Collins Edema Orishetmain, who also serves as the sole representative of the Olu of Warri and liaison to NNPCL, said the vision was to raise a generation of confident, purpose-driven Warri children who would transform society. The program also featured performances, spoken word, poetry, and goodwill messages from partners including the Ruth Gender Foundation and Great Eme Feke of Safari Pharmacy. Organized by the Cora Care Foundation and produced by Atlantic Media and TV, the event drew students from various schools across Warri for mentorship, education, and empowerment. Her Majesty Olori Atuwashe III graced the occasion with her royal presence. In her address, Olori Atuwashe III announced 300 WAEC scholarships for deserving students, while the Cora Care Foundation also awarded an additional 300 scholarships, bringing the total to 600 beneficiaries. The future of the Worried Child second edition ended on a high note with renewed passion, purpose, and possibilities, as Olori Atuwashe III reaffirmed her commitment to bringing the world to the Worried Child and sending the Worried Child to the world. The long-standing demand for a sixth state in Nigeria's southeast may soon become a reality as the National Assembly Joint Committee on Constitution Review has approved the creation of an additional state for the region. According to the committee's statement, Senator Abdul Ningi of Bauchi Central moved the motion for the new state, seconded by Ibrahim Isiaka from Ogun State, and it received unanimous approval from all members present. Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu, who has long championed the cause, described the resolution as historic and a major step towards balancing national representation. Currently, the Southeast has only 5 states: Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo, unlike the Northwest, which has 7. The committee also set up a subcommittee to review over 278 proposals for new states and local government areas across all 6 zones. Deputy Senate President Jibrin urged lawmakers to build consensus ahead of plenary voting and called for strong collaboration with state houses of assembly to ensure the proposal succeeds. The decision was reached at a 2-day retreat in Lagos, chaired by Deputy Senate President Barau Jibrin and Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives Benjamin Kalu. The lawmakers said the move was in the spirit of fairness and equity to bring the Southeast at par with other geopolitical zones. If approved by 2/3 of the National Assembly and state assemblies, the creation of a new Southeast state would mark the first major constitutional restructuring since 1996. The House of Representatives have summoned major regulatory bodies and law enforcement agencies for a full-scale probe into the rising abuse, trafficking, and poor regulation of illicit drugs across Nigeria. The ad hoc committee, chaired by Honorable Adelegbe, says the probe will also engage the NDLEA, police, customs, immigration, and the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria to uncover institutional lapses and regulatory failures fueling the country's drug crisis. Civil groups like the National Youth Council, the Nigerian Bar Association, and the Association of Psychiatrists are expected to make submissions alongside development partners such as the UNODC, WHO, UNICEF, and USAID. Lawmakers say the goal is to identify root causes, strengthen national drug control mechanisms, and propose practical reforms to protect public health. The committee has urged Nigerians and stakeholders to submit memoranda highlighting recommendations and solutions before the report is presented to the House for legislative action. Among those invited are NAFDAC, the Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON), the Ministries of Health, the Federal Airports Authority, and major pharmaceutical companies including EMSOL, Fitzin, May and Baker, Johel, and Dana. The investigation follows growing national concern over drug misuse, counterfeit pharmaceuticals, and the infiltration of narcotics into communities and schools nationwide. You're watching our Daily News Roundup on Atlantic TV. We'll go on a short break. On the other side, more news stories to come.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together, we can end it. Together, we can protect, we can rescue, and we can give hope. Say no to exploitation. Say no to slavery. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has commended the Nigerian Customs Service for its decisive role in intercepting the massive consignment of hard drugs, describing the collaboration as vital in the ongoing war against narcotics trafficking. According to the Customs Area Controller, Mohammed Shaibu, the substance was intercepted on the 17th of October during a late evening patrol after credible intelligence tipped off officers about a suspicious movement. He said one suspect, identified as Udwak Monday, was arrested with the illicit substance tightly wrapped in sellotape. The meth consignment and the suspect have since been handed over to the NDLEA for further investigation and prosecution. Receiving the items on behalf of NDLEA Chairman Brigadier General Buba Mara, retired, Commander of Narcotics Lagos Strategic Command, CN Abubakar Liman, praised customs vigilance and reaffirmed the agency's joint commitment to dismantling drug trafficking networks. He said the collaboration is deepening the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding signed between both agencies. Drug trafficking remains one of Nigeria's top security and public health concerns. The commendation follows the seizure of 25 kilograms of crystal methamphetamine, popularly known as ice, along the Baji Seme Road by operatives of the Federal Operations Unit, Zone A, Lagos. The drugs have an estimated street value of 562 million naira. Authorities say stronger interagency coordination is key to closing the nation's borders to smugglers and keeping narcotics off the streets. Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, is seeking an additional $5 billion to expand operations at his Lagos mega refinery 1 year after production began. According to Elombi, the refining expansion could double fuel output and slash pump prices by as much as 50% across Nigeria and West Africa, a move expected to reshape the region's energy landscape. He praised Dangote's industrial vision and said Afrexim Bank remains committed to financing Africa's transformation beyond commodity exports. Elombi also commended his predecessor, Professor Benedict Orama, for growing the bank's assets from $5 billion to $43.5 billion in just a decade. In his speech, Aliko Dangote congratulated Elombi on his appointment and pledged support for Afrexim Bank's new leadership, describing the institution as a key partner in Africa's economic independence. If completed, the $5 billion expansion would mark the refinery's second phase, positioning Nigeria as West Africa's energy hub and potentially bringing an end to decades of fuel import dependency. The new president and chairman of the African Export-Import Bank, George Elombi, disclosed this in Cairo during his inaugural address, saying Afrexim Bank will explore all options to raise the funds to support Dangote's refinery growth drive. Away from business now to the foreign scene, in a major geopolitical and economic move, the U.S. President Donald Trump has signed a trade agreement with Malaysia, granting Washington expanded access to critical minerals just days after China imposed sweeping controls on rare earth exports. The agreement also opens the door for American companies to invest directly in Malaysia's critical minerals sector, including rare earth magnet production. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer described the deal as vital to global economic resilience, saying both countries were working to ensure free and secure supply chains. Malaysia, which holds over 16 million tons of untapped rare earth reserves, has pledged to accelerate development of its domestic processing industry. Trump is in Kuala Lumpur ahead of a high-stakes meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Thursday amid escalating trade and tariff threats. Analysts say the agreement could mark a turning point in the global race for critical minerals as Washington moves to secure supplies and blunt Beijing's dominance in the sector. The deal, sealed in Kuala Lumpur during the ASEAN summit, commits Malaysia to refrain from banning or restricting rare earth exports to the United States. In return, Washington will formalize a 19% tariff on Malaysian goods. The White House says the move is aimed at strengthening global supply chains and reducing U.S. dependence on China. After 5 years of suspended air travel, India and China will resume direct passenger flights this Sunday, a significant step towards normalizing relations between Asia's two biggest powers. The first Indigo flight is set to depart from Kolkata at 10 p.m. local time, bound for Guangzhou in southern China. It marks the first direct connection since 2020, when roughly 500 monthly flights were halted amidst the COVID-19 pandemic and diplomatic strain. Additional routes from New Delhi to Shanghai and Guangzhou are expected to launch in November for the deepening economic ties. Officials and business leaders in Kolkata says the new routes will cut logistics time and spur investment. India's imports from China hit over $11 billion last month, up 16% from last year, while exports also rose by 34%. Despite the trade gap, both governments appear eager to keep communication open, even as India's relations with Washington cool amid U.S. tariff disputes. For many in both nations, Sunday's flight represents more than renewed travel. It's a cautious lift-off for diplomacy between two rivals whose destinies remained deeply intertwined. The move comes as both countries cautiously rebuild trust following years of tension, including the deadly 2020 border clash. India's government says the renewed air link will strengthen trade, tourism, and people-to-people relations. And now on sports news, the storm clouds are gathering over Anfield as defending Premier League champions Liverpool slump to a fourth straight defeat, sending shockwaves through English football. Liverpool's collapse has been swift and stunning, despite a record-breaking £446 million transfer spent in the summer, including blockbuster signings Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak. The team has failed to click. Slot's new-look side, once favourites to defend their crown, have already lost as many league matches as in their entire title-winning campaign. Poor defending, misfiring forwards, and the emotional toll following the tragic death of Diogo Jota have all compounded the Reds' struggles. Slot admits he's short of solutions, saying his players haven't found an answer to opponents' direct tactics. Liverpool left-back Andrew Robertson says the only way out of the crisis is to work harder and run more. With a crucial League Cup clash against Crystal Palace looming on Wednesday, fans are hoping for a turnaround before a season full of promise unravels completely. For now, the champions look a shadow of their former selves, and unless Slot finds quick answers, Liverpool's reign at the top could be over before Christmas. Manager Arne Slot is under growing pressure after his side's 3-2 loss to Brentford on Saturday, a result that leaves the Reds languishing in 6th place, just months after their dominant title-winning season. It was another dramatic night in La Liga as Real Madrid edged arch-rivals Barcelona 2-1 at the Santiago Bernabeu, tightening their grip on top spot in the Spanish league table. Mbappe opened the scoring in the 28th minute with a trademark low drive into the bottom corner. Barcelona responded swiftly, capitalizing on a defensive mix-up. Fermin Lopez fired home to make it 1-1 in the 38th minute. But Real's relentless pressure paid off just before halftime as Jude Bellingham tapped in from close range to restore the lead. The second half brought tension and missed chances. Mbappe saw a penalty saved, while Brahim Diaz's goal was ruled out by VAR for offside. Barcelona's frustration peaked in stoppage time when Pedri was sent off for a second yellow card, ending their hopes of a late comeback. The result ends Madrid's 4-game losing streak to Barcelona and cements their place at the summit of La Liga. At full-time, jubilation for Madrid, despair for Barcelona as Carlo Ancelotti's men continue their march towards another La Liga crown. Goals from Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham sealed the win, while Fermin Lopez's first-half strike offered a brief hope for the visitors before Madrid's resilience shone through. And with that sports news, we come to the end of our Daily News Roundup for today. here on Atlantic TV. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms for more news stories and headline updates. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere. Have a pleasant day.